Inconvenience. PRABHU was to give class, but he could not make it, and I was afraid to commit Mariana with the crown. Yeah, offense against a senior devotee. So I'm not qualified. Then we can share something which is important for our devotional life. So today we are discussing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 54. 254. Arjuna Vacha Sita Praginyasya Ka Basa Samadhistasya Keshava Sitadi Kim Pravaseta Asita Vrajeta. Arjuna Vacha Sita Pragya Sakhabasha Samadhistasya Keshava Sita Diki Prabhashita Kimasita Vrajayatena Kimasita Vrajayata Kim. Arjuna Vacha Sita Pragya Sakhabasha Samadhistasya Keshava Sita Diki Prabhashita Kimasita Vrajayatena Kim. Arjuna Vacha Sita Pragya Sakhabasha Samadhistasya Keshava Sita Diki Prabhashita Kimasita Vrajayata Kim. Please repeat someone. Can you say it, please? Arjuna Vacha Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said, Sita Pragyasya, of one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness. Ka, what? Basa, language. Samadhi, Samadhistasya, one situated in trance. Keshava, O Krishna, Sitali, one fixed in Krishna consciousness. Kim, what? Prabhashita, speaks. Kim, how? Asita, does remain still. Rajata, walks. Kim, how? Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? Please repeat. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? PRUTHU. As there are symptoms for each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is Krishna conscious has his particular nature, talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a diseased man has many symptoms by which he is known as diseased, or as a learned man has his symptoms. So a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know the man in Krishna consciousness speaks, for one can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks, for speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak, and certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptoms of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follows as stated below. Om Magyana Dimirandasya Jana Jana Shalaka Chaksuru Umritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishnu Swapitam Yena Savitam Yena Bhutari Swamrupa Kadamaya Nadati Swaparamika Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Tapadakalam Shri Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagrachatam Saharavunatam Vitam Tam Saliva Sarvaitam Savadutam Paryana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Savarita Sri Iskcon Mombasa Hey Krishna Karuna Sidhu Dinam Varu Jagatpati Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoshta Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Risavanushte Devi Pranamami Hari Kri Panchakarutaruve Sakshipas Tudeva Chapatanam Bhavanevi Vaisnavi Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Sri Gaur Bhaktavri Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Arjuna Vacha Sita Pranakshya Kavasha Samadhi Shastya Keshava Shitadi Kim Prabhashita Kimasita Vrajeta Kim. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? Hare Krishna. This is a very wonderful discussion between Arjuna and Krishna. that Arjuna is inquiring the symptoms of a devotee. Because so many people they claim to be devotees, but how can we distinguish a real devotee? What are the symptoms of a devotee? There is someone also who went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and asked, who is a devotee? And he was given 3 explanations of who is a devotee. Real, situated in transcendence. This devotee is not bothered or is not affected by duality. So Krishna gives examples of who is this devotee and his symptoms. So Arjuna is asking, how does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Prabhupada gives amazing explanation here. There are different symptoms, just like a diseased man. He can only be recognized by his symptoms. Like now when there was this wave of COVID-19, we used to go to every mall and our temperatures were taken. If you are beyond 36.5, then you will be somehow rather quarantined. So there's so many symptoms. Or you board a plane or a bus or a train, someone is coughing so much. Refrain from getting closer to him. These are symptoms also. So sometimes when we walk to the beach, everyone is telling us Hare Krishna. And I have not tilak. I wonder what are these symptoms also. These symptoms are there. You cannot hide. These symptoms are there of a devotee. So in this case, how does a Krishna conscious person sit? How does he talk? What is his language? So a Krishna conscious person is always composed in his language. Even in his speech, whatever he speaks only topics related to Krishna. He does not indulge himself in prajalpa. No prajalpa. Prajalpa means nonsensical topics, gossips, rumors. No devotee is not interested in such topics. Politics. That is prajalpa also. Politics, these are mundane. They are not related to Krishna consciousness. So, a devotee will always talk about Krishna and his pastimes and his associates. That is a devotee who is situated in transcendence. Transcendence means this devotee has overcome the 3 modes of material nature: mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Because without overcoming these 3 modes of material nature, then we will become conditioned. We find ourselves once in a while engaging in prajalpa, for example. We will find ourselves engaging in topics like politics, which has no benefit for spiritual life. That this human form of life is very important. Why? This human form of life is important because it is the highest platform for God consciousness. Only when we have a human form of life can we understand God. What is God? But when we have animal consciousness, we cannot understand. So animals, the lower beings, they cannot comprehend what is Krishna consciousness. Then it is the moment of a devotee, or the right moment of a devotee, to elevate himself in Krishna consciousness, not to waste his time like cats and dogs, like Prabhupada used to say. Don't waste your time like dogs and cats. They're always barking. Don't waste your time. Uplift yourself and go back home, back to God. Because we are suffering, you are suffering in this material world. We are bound by the three fold miseries: Adhyatmic klesha, the bhautik klesha, and the daivic klesha. Miseries of our own mind. How can we overcome miseries of our own mind? How can we overcome the miseries caused by nature? And how can we overcome miseries caused by other living entities? It is very difficult. But if we understand his constitutional position, I am not this body, I am a spirit soul. He understands the Jiva Tattva. We are all living entities, parts and parcel of the Supreme. Our duty, constitutional position is to please Krishna, not for sense gratification. Because everything is Krishna. He is a proprietor. He is a controller. He is a enjoyer. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachin Ananda Vira. Anandir Andir Govinda Sarva Karna. He is the proprietor. He is everything that we own. He is the enjoyer, supreme enjoyer. So when we understand we are nothing, that we are just Prakriti, to be enjoyed by the Purusha himself, the enjoyer, then we can understand what is Krishna consciousness. And the time we have in this material is very limited. Very limited. So we should use this limited time we have for discussing the topics of Krishna. And they're very sweet. If you relish this nectar of Krishna consciousness, is very sweet. When we go outside, many people, they were asking me, how can I join? How can I join? Because they are attracted to the effulgence of the devotees, how they are dancing, when we invite them, how they are tasting Krishna prasadam. They can see this Krishna consciousness is sweet. They are attracted by Krishna himself. Because Krishna means all who is attractive, all jivas to him. But because of the conditioned nature, we cannot be able to surrender. Because actually the whole topic of Bhagavad Gita ends in the 18th chapter about surrender. Surrender unto me. I shall get rid of all your worries. Why you worry? You surrender to Krishna. So when we surrender to Krishna, all these things are good. So Arjuna is being enlightened about the symptoms of a devotee. But the most important is how a man in Krishna consciousness speaks, for speech is the most important qualities of man. Yes, very true. It is mentioned that a foolish man cannot be recognized unless he opens his mouth to speak. Because he has nothing important to speak. His speech makes no sense. He speaks nonsense. But a devotee, his speech is very, 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 very rich. Very rich in transcendental knowledge. Because actually, I have seen so many people who have come to Krishna consciousness without formal education. That means they have no university degrees, no high school diplomas. But when they become very serious in studying these scriptures, they get impacted the true knowledge. Because the true knowledge lies here in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the highest knowledge. I have not seen it anywhere else. Because out there we are being given material knowledge. Material knowledge. This knowledge, they say, is meant to help us solve material problems, which is a lie. Prabhupada taught us how to solve material problems using spiritual means. It is only when we refer, for example, to the Bhagavad Gita to solve our solutions. All our solutions lies in the Bhagavad Gita. In case we feel anxiety, just like Arjuna, in this first chapter we can see, just receive of me your courage for one Gita. He's telling Krishna, he threw his weapons and said, "Oh Krishna, I'm not ready to fight, please," because of bewilderment. Sometimes or other we have bewildered. So many challenges in our life, but still we go to get solutions from other people there. Some people go to magicians, astrologers to seek or to solve their problems. Then we neglect this transcendental knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita, which is meant to help us solve material problems. Very true. So unless we we use or we exploit this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, then we cannot relish this nectar. This is nectar. Because it is the solution to all our material problems and our spiritual problems. So, a devotee, once he surrenders to Krishna and he starts Jnana, knowledge is one of them. So a devotee is knowledgeable. It's not a fool. A devotee is knowledgeable. We can see even our Guru Parampara here, very knowledgeable. Or our Guru, the Guru Parampara, they are very knowledgeable. Wonderful books they have written. Amazing books they have written. Amazing songs they have also composed. They are very knowledgeable. Prabhupada, wonderful example. You can see how many books Srila Prabhupada wrote because he was knowledgeable, he was endowed with knowledge, transcendental knowledge about Krishna. Actually, Prabhupada used to say that he was asked by one of his disciples, "Do you read your books? Or why do you read your books?" He said, "Because I'm not the author, I'm not the one who writes this. Because just pick a pen and write, and it's Krishna who inspires me to write. So it's Krishna who is controlling him." Because Prabhupada was surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna gave him that knowledge. So if only when we are sincere, and we refrain from all things that are not favorable to Krishna consciousness, only these things will spoil our devotional life. The nectar of instruction, they are listed 6 things that are not favorable for devotional service. Only when we refrain from these things that affect or spoil our devotional service can we advance in Krishna consciousness. Then only then we exhibit these symptoms being displayed here in the Bhagavad Gita. As this devotee, he is very knowledgeable. Oh, he looks very happy. A devotee is always happy. A devotee possesses all the qualities of a demigod. All the qualities of a demigod. He is not envious. He is happy. He is the well-wisher of everyone. That's why we are spreading the holy name to others, the conditioned souls. We need also to rescue them from illusion. This all is not a reality. It's an illusion. Because they think that you are here forever. And this is just temporary. Whatever we are doing here is temporary, it's material. But in Krishna consciousness, this is eternal. Whatever we are doing here, even spiritual, serving Krishna is eternal. It is also going on. It is going on. So a devotee will always aspire. A devotee will always aspire Krishna consciousness. Nothing else. Nothing else. Because whatever we have, it can be ruined in a second. You saw how this COVID managed, destroyed so many things. Economy can be spoiled any time. Anything can be destructed any time. So our only refuge is the Holy Name. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, when he told his demoniac father about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he told him about the Holy Name and the protection that the Holy Name can give to a devotee. Nakasipu could not understand this because he could not know who is God. He was atheistic. He was demonic. He could not understand that the Lord is not different from His name. Because when we mention Krishna, we are invoking Krishna into our lives. When we say Krishna, Krishna manifests Himself in the Holy Name. When we mention water, you chant water will not manifest. But Krishna is not different from His name. So Prahlad Maharaj took refuge of the Holy Name and he got protected from the dangers that his father posed to his life. They attempted to poison Prahlad Maharaj. He was thrown from the cliff. Why did he do? But he didn't die. He survived. So many devotees we can see. We can see Gajendra also. Gajendra, when he was beaten by the crocodile, then when he cried to the Lord, he was saved. The Lord came in a chariot of Garuda, and came and saved him. So many devotees, we have seen even Bhagavad Gita also. We have seen that Krishna is the well wish of everyone. So if we surrender to Krishna, then we can be saved. But if we think that we are the doers, we are the enjoyers, then we cannot be saved. We are going to drown into the material pool. Into the material pool of illusion. We will not be rescued. We will be subjected to repeated birth and death. Repeated birth and death. So in order to come out of this hellish condition of life, full of miseries, we have to take shelter of the Holy Name. So only then when we are going to relish the Holy Name and we practice pure devotional service, only then we are going to exhibit these symptoms being discussed here. Without taking shelter of the Holy Name and becoming sincere, then still will exhibit symptoms that are contrary to this of a person who is situated in transcendence. Because you cannot fake. Krishna consciousness cannot be faked. Just like a right seed, a quality seed, when you plant it, surely it's going to germinate. But a seed which is not quality, although you plant it, it's not going to germinate. And if you are told you are given a seed of a corn, it cannot grow into wheat. If it's a corn that has been sown, it is going to grow or to germinate as a corn. So Krishna consciousness cannot be faked because it is going to display its real symptoms. So Krishna consciousness at the beginning it may taste very bitter, so many challenges, but in the interim stage it may taste very sweet. Just like medicine is very bitter also to a diseased person, but it's going to save his life. So whatever dose we are given, Prabhupada has given us a dose, chant 16 rounds every day. Wake up early, morning hours and chant 16 rounds. Oh, very bitter. Oh, how I can wake up very early. I feel very tired. Oh, I feel very comfortable in bed. I have no time. I'm going to work. I'll be late. Oh, I don't think 16 rounds. I can make it. Maybe I can chant 5 rounds. Then our spiritual life become degraded. If we cannot follow rules and regulations, then our spiritual life become degraded. And when we become degraded, we become complicit, and we will not be able to display these symptoms of transcendence. But automatically, these symptoms cannot be exhibited artificially. Automatically, a devotee who is following the rules and regulations, then you will be able to understand that this devotee is sincere. He is sincere. Yeah, he is very sincere. You cannot forge, you cannot fake. So in order to sustain our spiritual life, we have to lay a foundation. We have to lay a firm foundation. Just like a building, big building, you have to excavate and lay a proper foundation. Put the right steel structures, the right and the quality cement and honeycombs. Only then can you have a firm foundation. Same is spiritual life. If your foundation is laid on top of sand, then your structure, spiritual life is going to fall down. So first of all, you have to seek shelter of a spiritual master, Guru, so that we can take instruction from the Guru. We can receive message directly in the Guru Parampara, disciplic succession. Then we have to follow the 4 regulative principles as directed by our Guru, our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. We have every day to read Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Even in our homes, if at all we are not making it to the temple, we should endeavor to associate with the devotees. Don't shun association of devotees. Don't. Come and associate with devotees. Then you will gain the strength of devotional life. You will be able to overcome Maya. But if we avoid the association of devotees, then Maya is very strong, going to drag you. You will not be able to chant, you will not be able to read, you will be overwhelmed by your duties at home and at work. At least create one and associate with devotees and take the darshan of their lordships, take Mahaprasadam, wonderful. Just see. And associating with devotee is very important. Sadhu Sangha. Very important. Then only then you can be elevated in the highest perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. So I hope I'm not go beyond there. Otherwise I am not prepared for this. But any question please? Or realization?
You have given very nice lecture. You are not prepared, but when you prepare, then you give more
can add something. Mataji, you can say something.
You say very nicely that foundation should be very strong. It can be only happen when you have a spiritual master.
Yes.
That is not exactly the foundation is big when you build on the sand.
Yes.
You become serious when you have a guru. You are strictly following the shastras.
Yeah. Very true, because when we take shelter of a guru, shows the level of seriousness. Because when we are initiated, we are bound to follow the four regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds. So someone who does not want, or someone who wants to avoid that duty of chanting every day 16 rounds, then he will not go for initiation. He will not surrender to a guru because of the ego. So we have to keep this first ego. And then surrendering to the spiritual master means the ego now is gone. Now we can be able to practice. But still we are meant to surrender to the spiritual master. We don't even get, even after practicing all these things, devotional service, we do some seva, still we are not getting full benefit. Full benefit. But when we surrender to the spiritual master, we are getting full benefit of devotional service. Because the temple is doing so many service. But if you have not taken shelter of the spiritual master, Prabhupada said, I have read somewhere that you will not receive full benefit of devotional service. And also you will not receive massive flowing from the Guru Parampara, the chain of the disciplic succession. So the massive flows, just like the water from Himalayas flows down to Krishna, flows from Krishna himself. It's very difficult. Krishna says, you cannot go direct to him. You cannot go direct to Krishna. Even when we are chanting, we don't go directly to Krishna. We are chanting Mahamantra. We first of all invoke the mercy of Radharani first. Then we can be able to get connected to Krishna. Very difficult. We are not actually qualified to go direct to Krishna. We are not.
What is stopping the Kenyans to come in Krishna consciousness?
Kenyans.
Here we have center since 1971. Still we have not got the flood of the devotees. What obstacles are there? Because Kenyans are very sharp, they understand, they are very religious, they understand philosophy, everything, very quickly. So what is stopping?
So many things there. So many things there.
You can say something as per your realization, because you are preacher to the students.
Yes. So there are so many factors that may hinder people to join Krishna consciousness. Not only Kenyans, also there are so many people there. Even in India, people are hesitant to join this movement. In America, so many places also. But you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, after millions of years, one who has accumulated knowledge comes to me and surrenders. So we have, even us, we have been rebelling against Krishna. Millions and millions of years, undergoing the 8.4 million species of life. But maybe in my journey, I met some devotees, got association of devotees, or tasted Krishna Prasada, or I served one devotee, and I got their mercy. In my next life, maybe I became a devotee. Same case also. These people, their time is not yet. Because unless now they have acquired that knowledge, then they will come to Krishna. And if so, Krishna says, so many people come to me. Four kinds of people come to me. With the desires, those who are material afflicted, those who want knowledge. So many people they are there. But it is upon the duty of devotees to go and spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to these conditioned souls. Unless you go out and spread this sweetness of Krishna consciousness, then it become hidden. So we have like, you can see it's dark, it's night in that time, it's around 8 p.m. now. If we switch off these lights, then the room will be dark. So these people, they are in darkness, in illusion. So unless we go with the light and show these lights to them, only then their eyes will be opened. So maybe a challenge to this temple. I'm not qualified. We can be having some Sankirtan, going out at least doing some books. Actually, a book called Coming Back is the one that brought me to Krishna consciousness. One book I saw. A friend of mine was given a book on the streets of Nairobi by Sankirtan devotees. Then he never utilized the book and kept it in his house. I went to visit him in his house and he told me, oh, I have a book here was given by these Hare Krishna people. I asked him what are Hare Krishna people. He explained how they are wearing, they are shaved. With me, when I used to shave and keep sick when I was full time in the temple. So I took the book. I asked him, have you read this book? No, I'm not interested. Can I take it? Yes. So I read the book. And that's how my spiritual journey started. So you can see a book. If we have so many books, actually we have so many books. If we distribute these books, we never know who that books will learn to. And this person will exploit fully Krishna consciousness. Book distribution. Let's give books to everyone. Let's do Harinam. Someone will hear what this mantra. And then he'll ask, what is this? Why are you chanting? What is this Hare Krishna? So the process of Krishna consciousness actually begins with inquisitiveness, asking. Even the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see the great sages led by Sonak Rishi. They assembled in the forest of Naimisaranya, and they are really eager to ask questions. They ask questions. We can see Maitreya and Vidura. You can see Pariksit Maharaj always asking questions. These questions are the one that are going to enlighten our Krishna consciousness. It's not easy also. To preach is not easy. I'm also preaching. I've been preaching in several universities also. PRABHU, I need your mercy also. I have not gotten a single devotee also. But anyway, I say, if at all, devotees will not come also here in the temple also. But out there, they are practicing. Or now they have known, oh, we are not this body. Slowly, they are realizing themselves. The foundation is the self-realization stage. So when they read and contemplate, only when they reach a level of surrender. Surrendering is a process. It's a process. So, as I was giving an analogy of planting seeds. Of course, so much we have done here also, in the other temples also we have done. By even preaching, we are sowing seeds. So it will give time also for them to germinate. These people, at the fullness of time, they still come knocking. Can you be allowed to come inside this temple, Hare Krishna? Oh yes, please come. Then they will tell us, they ask so many questions also. And if it gets some, a single devotee comes, then there remains a follow-up about him. You can be calling him, how are you doing? Can you come again in the temple? Please take prasadam, eat another book. Then we are going to create a congregation of devotees. When one person is sufficient. One person will bring us 2 devotees out. And those 2 devotees will bring other 4 devotees out. But unless they are taught with the patience also, because they take time also to understand. They can also, and they have also to ask in a submissive way, not in a challenging manner. Because if they ask in a challenging manner, they cannot understand Krishna consciousness. They need humility. Because people with PhD, when they come here, they realize they know nothing. You keep your material education down there and realize you are fool number one. You are fool number one because you have been associating yourself with the body, identifying yourself with the body. So many designations, I'm a doctor, I'm a professor, I'm a lecturer. Those I'm an engineer, those are designations, material designations. So that ego creates a barrier between us and Krishna consciousness. That's why many people will not surrender. They don't want to surrender. Many people, even today, I went to this market called Kongowea market. I saw so many, like 5 different people.
All the saying Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and me also wearing the same. So I met one, I thought he's a devotee. Even before I greeted him, he told me, Hare Krishna. Because I had a paper. Oh, I said, Hare Krishna. Then I was amused. You just see how you have spread Krishna consciousness. You have already sowed the seeds. So you need only to water them, water them, water them. They are going to germinate. Haribo. So Prabhuji, the fullness of time, congregation will build up. The fullness of time. Because they should come on their own volition without any motivation. Because so many people also they come, maybe I want a job, I want some Lakshmi also. That one he will not last. Without these facilities, then he'll go. Then he's not sincere. So he should come as a seeker. I'm seeking Krishna consciousness, not material gain. Because that's, we don't have, we are all seeking.
If you go in any part of Kenya, even rural area, they're chanting Hare Krishna.
Very true.
Even go in rural area, if you go in this place, they will say Hare Krishna. Means they know.
They know this. So unless they reach that time, just like a ripe mango, you have a ripe mango and a unripe mango. So the symptoms are there, just as Arjuna is asking, what are the symptoms of a devotee, how he talks, how he sits. Same case, a ripe mango will just fall, will just break from the tree. True? A ripe mango, after duration, it will fall off from the tree. But a ripe mango will stick there. It will stick there. Even though you shake the tree, only the ripe mango will fall. Then a ripe mango will still remain there. So the time of maturity is not yet. But with fullness of time, then they will inherit this. Someone can comment on that? Jai Jai Jai. Gratra Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. God Premanand.